So today I'm going to give my review of Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings. Here's my little Minecraft Pocket Edition-esque book, which is, by the way, 1,258 pages, and it is this size. It's quite funny how they managed to make it as small as it is. I didn't read the copy, I listened to the audiobook with Michael Kramer and Kate Redding. Very good, do recommend. But anyway, yeah, so today I'm going to be reviewing this book. So this book does amazing work on character and world building. Brandon Sanderson's, just his prose is very, very nice to read. And like I said, the characters are just very well written and some of the strongest I've seen in a while. He chooses to subvert some tropes that are common within fantasy, but keeps some that are so he has a few that feel familiar, whereas ones that you think are familiar until he flips them on their head and give you a very nice refreshing take on some of the stuff that's been in fantasy recently. This helps convey a very brilliant and interesting story, and although, like I said, it is 1,200 pages, it goes by so quickly because you just can't put the book down. It's like I don't feel there was many dull moments within the book, and the fact that he's managed to keep such a pace as with so many pages is just brilliant. And like I said, character work is one of the best I've seen in modern fantasy. Full stop. Okay, so let's talk about some of these characters. The first one I'm going to talk about is Kaladin, and he is one of the best in the book. It shows that weight of leadership and his conflicting morality. He starts off as a slave, and as the book progresses you learn why he became a slave and how that happened, which I don't want to give anything away, but it's very well done, and like anyway. He goes from this point of being a slave where he ends up even wanting to kill himself because his life has been that bad, and then becoming the leader of Bridge 4 and helping them, and it's just brilliant. This Bridge 4 kind of thing is like an underdog kind of thing, like that kind of storyline where the team are like, but basically it's like an underdog thing, where you've got like the team that seem the weakest then end up becoming the strongest and doing well. And yeah, it's that's the kind of plot line for that stuff. And the dynamic between the bridge crew itself is just extremely satisfying. All the characters are fleshed out and you feel like you are part of this team, and there's such a strong connection with all the characters that are there. I like the fact how Kaladin's kind of like relationship with the storm itself, which you'll learn about, but basically that's not introduced until the second half. I'd say like the second half or later in the book. So he's not a chosen one or anything from the beginning, and he really meets his lowest points. And then in terms of that, as soon as he then gains these powers or realizes, he starts blaming them for the fact that people are dying around him, and that he may be able to survive some stuff because of this, and in turn other people are then dying around him. And so instead of it turns that kind of like trope on its head of like being the chosen one is a good thing, because sometimes it can lead to, or he feels it leads to other people being killed because of him, and it just adds on to that guilt that he's been feeling throughout the book. Yeah, like I said, his character is just very well written. So the next character I'm going to talk about is Shallan. I'm still unsure whether I'm supposed to like her, because the reveal is, just spoilers alert here, she reveals that she killed her father. And the whole plot here is that she's trying to steal the Fabiel from Jasnah, in order to give to her family to be able to pay off debts that her father had caused, and the death of her father means the fall of her house, and so she needs to repay those debts in able to continue her family and just make it seem like everything's okay. And the problem is that she realizes that Yasna doesn't need the Fabriel, and she then reveals a truth that is needed, and this truth is that she killed her father, and it's very, I don't know, like, it's an interesting thing, but now I'm concerned. I need to know more, because I don't know whether to trust this character. And yet Shallan kind of acts as this, with her own great plot, but she also acts as a way of, like, world building, because she's learning to be a scholar, so she needs to read up on all these different things, which then are, like, deposited to the reader in a way that's not, like, so heavy-handed. I think it was just a very well done piece, and a very good tactic to be able to convey all this information. The next character I'm going to talk about is Dalinar. He has a great character arc, and he has one of these things where he's been having these visions, and he keeps being told to unite them, and he is immediately he kind of starts trusting them, and then his son brings up to him that maybe these visions aren't to be trusted, and it kind of, a similar way, subverts that trope of, like, oh, you're having visions. Because quite a lot of books do this thing where this character starts having visions. They're being told they need to do this, and they just blindly trust them. Whereas Dalinar starts doubting whether these are true, whether these are sent by the enemy to kind of ruin him, or ruin his army and things like that. And so he starts distrusting these visions, and it's that conflict between whether he should or whether he shouldn't, whether he should trust the people around him. And he asks the visions to be able, if he should trust Sadeas, and the visions say yes. But this kind of plays on the idea of honor and what he should be doing, whether it's true. And it's just such a good book. The final scenes, I'm not going to go into too much detail, I'm going to be very vague here, but the final scenes are so good. You get to a point where you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen now. And just because you know it's going to happen makes it even more exciting, because you're like, go on, do it, happen. And then the moment happens, and the payoff is so good. The chap, brilliant. Oh, and the use of something that's been used previously and failed, and now it's being used to work, which, if you've read the book, you'll know what I mean. It's so good. Oh my god. Anyway, my final little bit about the book. It's an amazing book, perfected by Brandon Sanderson. His work on character is amazing. Some of the best I've seen in modern fantasy at this minute. Kaladin is a very great character, talks about leadership, has that kind of underdog story with Bridge 4. You've got Shallan, who lets you dive into this world and learn loads more about it, with this plot of learning about Spren and things like that. You've got Dalinar, which is all his kind of mistrust and his strive to be honourable and be better than some of the people that in a corrupted ruling class kind of thing. It's brilliant. So the score of this book, I'm going to give a 94 out of 100, because it's such a great book and I think you guys should read it. If you haven't already, go down to the link in the description below where I'll leave my Twitch. Go over there, ring the notification bell, you can know when I next go live. If you'd like to speak to me or any others about the books or about anything else in general, we've got a Discord channel, so I'll leave a link for that down there as well. If you'd like to buy the book, I'll leave a link down there as well. If you've got any books you want me to do, any comments about this, leave it in the comments section down below. And below me will be a video a video, a channel subscribe link, you know, the usual stuff. And over there will be a video chosen by the YouTube algorithm you can go and watch and enjoy more of the content. Thank you guys for watching the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.